Hello and welcome back to Code Closure. So in this video I will be showing another project, that is Cypher Chat, which is basically a platform where you can connect with random strangers online. It is just like Omegle but a simpler version because there is no video call option here. We can only do text chat. And I have used React for frontend, Express.js for backend, and for deployment, frontend is deployed on Vercel and backend is deployed on Railway. I will explain why. Okay, as you can see here that this is our home page where we have navbar on top and there is a logo on left side, and there are two things. First one is theme toggler and the other one is indicator, which will show you how many users are online at the current moment. And here we have a hero section with introduction, and here you will see a text chat button to start text chat. And why choose Cypher Chat? It's anonymous, secure, you don't need to create your account, and it will connect you with the users across the globe, so it's a global community. Okay, so now you can see here that there's only one user online. If I open it in another tab, now you will see two. And if I start chat, and here, so you will see that stranger has connected. Hey. And now if I open it in another tab and click on text chat, now you will see that it won't interrupt the ongoing conversation there. It will look for strangers. And if I start text chat here, so now you can see that these two users are connected now. And if I type anything, you will see here that stranger is typing. And if I send the message, it will disappear. Now I will walk you through the source code and will explain how everything is connected and working. So first let's see the front end part. For the front end, first we have index.html as always, where we have HTML head, and in body we have this root. And in index.js we are using that root and rendering our React application in that. So React DOM.create root. So we are creating a root element in the React DOM, which will be a virtual DOM, and then we are rendering our application in that. So first we have this chat context provider. Okay, so before that, this is an if-else condition which will check in the local storage if the application is set to dark theme or light theme, because even if I refresh it, it will stay on the current theme only. Okay, so now let's see our chat context. So in the chat context, we have all our user IDs, searching, online user, messages is connected, everything that we can use all across the application. So first we have our use effect. Here are handle before unload and handle unload methods, which we will call on before unload and unload when user directly closes the tab. So it will basically unpair the user so that the other user will know that stranger has disconnected, and it will close the session. Then we have another use state here. So basically it has socket events. So socket.on user disconnected. It will basically check if the receiver is equals to disconnected user ID. Then it will set the receiver and message as empty strings and is typing false. Then we have another socket event which will check if the partner has disconnected. Then it will again do the same thing. And then we have our provider, which is providing all these values. Then we have our theme context, which is basically a context all across our application to maintain the consistent theme, either it is dark mode or light mode. Then we have our app.jsx file. Here you can see that first we have socket. We'll show you the socket later on. Then we have our theme provider, browser router, which is handling our routing to the home page and chat page. Then we have navbar, which will remain same on all the pages. And then in the routes we have two pages, home and chat. So now let's see our socket first. So this is the most important thing here, because it is connecting the socket client to the backend socket connection. So here you can see we have some socket events here too, in use effect, socket.connect, socket.disconnect, and on connect we are just setting these values to true and false. Then we have connect event, disconnect event, and whenever a new user connects, we provide that user a new UID, which is a random ID generated here. Then we emit the add new user with the unique ID. So whenever a user comes to the website, we provide that user a ID, and then we send that to the backend socket saying that this is a new user. And then we get our get users to display the count here. And here we have send message, receive message, which will basically set the messages sent by user or received by the other user. And we have then paired, unpaired socket events, and closed, typing, not typing. Now let's see the pages. So home page is basically a static page. We only have our theme here. And yes, also whenever a user comes to the home page, it will check if the user ID already exists and the user is searching. So if the user is coming from chat page, then it will close the session and let the other user know that user has disconnected. And same for the receiver. Then everything is static. Now see our chat page. This is our main page. So here we have a new chat method. So in the new chat method, we are just setting is searching to true and then messages to empty array, and we have a paired socket event here to check if the user has paired or not. And then we have a use effect here. So here we are checking if there is a user ID and the user ID exists in the online users, then we will call our new chat, which will basically first start searching for other users to connect. And here we have only two components. First one is messages. So messages will be this whole section here, and input section will be this, where we have two buttons and one input box. So first let's see our messages. So in the messages we have use chat. So we are just getting these values from context, is searching, receiver, messages, and is typing. And here you can see we have the theme, and then if the user is not searching and there is no receiver, it will show you that start a new conversation. And if is searching is true, it will show you looking for strangers, and if there is a receiver, then it will show you stranger has connected. Then here we have simply the messages. So we will display by the user type. If the message is sent by the other user, it will be shown here, and if the message is sent by us, then it will be shown here. Then we have simple is typing indicator and is searching. Then the second component we have is the input. So in this component, first we have our use context hook. And then we have the new chat method here again. And then we have our skip chat. So if let's say two users are connected, but I want to skip, I don't want to talk to the other user anymore, so this will be called. And then we have send message, and then handle key down, which will basically show the typing indicator whenever a user is typing. And here we simply have all our three main input types: button, input box, and then again button. Okay, so this is our front end. Now let's jump to the backend. Backend is simple. The only complex thing is the socket. So first we have our server. Here we are setting up a Express server. So these are some cores. We have a origin and methods we have allowed. Then app.get, and we are setting the port. And then in the API we have index.js, which is basically the same thing. So yeah, I'm not using server.js, I'm using index.js. So here we have our socket file. Here you can see first we are initializing our socket. We are using socket.io, and in this we are setting up the connection. And here we have our socket events: add new user, which will be called when a new user comes to the website, then paired, and here we have unpaired, closed, send message, typing, not typing, screen off, offline, disconnect. For the add new user, it will just get the user ID from the front end that we were generating, and it will add that to online users. Then here we have our paired event. In this it is checking that the unpaired user, it will get the all unpaired users, and if the length is less than 2, that means there is only one user, so it will just keep waiting until there are 2 users. Or as soon as there are 2 users, it will just connect them, and it will be in a queue. So whenever a new user join, it will wait for the next user to join and connect with them. And if a user disconnects, the user will be again added to the unpaired users queue. And here then we have unpaired, which is basically adding user to the unpaired list, and send message, which is basically adding messages so that other user can see. And typing, not typing, rest is simple. Here we have our users.js file, where we'll see some functions like add user. So it will basically add the user, and then we have add unpaired users, which will add the users to the unpaired user list. Remove user, so we have then remove unpaired users, and get users, and get unpaired users. It is just simple functions. And here we have our env file, where we have base URL for our front end, and in our front end we have a base URL for our backend. So now I will explain why I did not hosted my backend on Vercel, because in Vercel we cannot connect a socket, because for sockets we have to create a two-way channel where the socket connection can stay up and users can communicate easily in real time. That is not achievable in Vercel, not at least in free plan. So I decided to go with Railways. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching, and I have provided the source code in description. You can just check this out and just clone it and try adding the video chat feature. And if you like the video, please like, share and subscribe. I will be back with more and more advanced and some creative projects too. Thank you.